What if I told you that the guards in Squid Game aren't strangers at all? What if they're actually former players who survived previous games and were forced to become part of the system? This isn't about magic or resurrection. This is about something far more realistic and terrifying. Psychological manipulation, debt slavery, and the ultimate betrayal of human trust. The evidence has been staring us in the face this entire time, and once you see it, you'll never watch Squid Game the same way again. Here's the horrifying reality. The guards in Squid Game are former winners and survivors from previous games who were given a choice: die, or become part of the system forever. Think about it logically. The VIPs need people who understand the games, who know exactly how players think and react. Who better to control desperate people than someone who was once desperate themselves? The organization doesn't recruit random employees. They create them from their own victims. It's the perfect psychological prison. Survive the games, only to discover that freedom was never really an option. Those masks aren't just hiding their identities from the players. They're hiding the shame and trauma of people who were forced to choose between death and becoming the very thing they once feared. Let's examine the evidence. Have you ever noticed how the guards seem to know exactly how players will react? They anticipate every move, every desperate attempt at rebellion, every psychological breakdown. This isn't training, this is experience. Watch how they handle the players during the games. They know exactly when someone is about to panic, when someone is planning to cheat, when someone is about to break down. They've seen it all before because they've been there. And here's the smoking gun. Remember how efficiently they handled the riot in the dormitory? They knew exactly which players would be leaders, which would be followers, and how to break up the chaos. That's not guard training. That's the knowledge of someone who once slept in those same beds, felt that same desperation. Now let's talk about the most chilling evidence: the recruitment system. The organization has been running these games for decades. But where do they find guards who are so loyal, so silent, so perfectly obedient? The answer is simple. They don't recruit them. They create them. Every few years, they select the most psychologically broken winners and survivors. People who have lost everything, who have no family left, no connections to the outside world. People who are completely dependent on the organization for survival. These former players are given a choice: work for us or disappear forever. But here's the truly evil part. They're told they're the lucky ones who get to live. They're convinced that becoming a guard is a privilege, a reward for surviving. It's the ultimate psychological manipulation. The hierarchy system makes perfect sense when you understand this theory. Circle guards are former players who barely survived. They're given simple tasks because they're still traumatized and broken. Triangle guards are former players who showed strategic thinking. They're trusted with more complex operations. Square guards are the former winners who fully embraced the system. They've become true believers. And here's the most disturbing part. Some guards might even recognize current players. Imagine being forced to watch someone you knew from the outside world play the same games you survived, knowing you can't help them, can't warn them, can't even acknowledge that you know them. The masks don't just hide their faces. They hide their tears, their guilt, their complete psychological destruction. So the next time you watch Squid Game, remember this: those guards standing silently around the games aren't just employees. They're former players who thought they had won, only to discover that the real game was just beginning. They're people who were broken so completely that they now participate in breaking others. The true horror of Squid Game isn't that people die for money. It's that the survivors are forced to become complicit in the system that destroyed them. The guards aren't the enemy. They're the ultimate victims, trapped in a cycle of trauma and forced participation that's more realistic and more terrifying than any supernatural explanation. This is how real evil works, not through magic, but through psychological manipulation, economic desperation, and the complete destruction of human dignity. What do you think? Have you noticed these behavioral patterns? Let me know in the comments, and subscribe for more theories that reveal the realistic horrors hiding in plain sight.